Getting organized in 2026. I am in the midst of doing a series of posts and videos about organizing your life and your genealogy and family history research one system at a time. So, I've shared tips already on managing your email, on managing your digital calendar. This is part three, managing your to do list. And this video is for you if managing your to do list in traditional ways as a list, whether it be digital or on paper, is overwhelming and just leaves you feeling overburdened. This is another approach that you may find to be of interest. The approach that I use comes from Organized 365's Sunday Basket approach. The Sunday Basket system overall helps you manage your paper, and there's a specific part of it that helps you manage your to do list. And it's that part that I use. I really focus on using their approach for the to do list. And the way it works is everything you need to do, you write down on an index card, one item per index card. The goal is to get it out of your head and on to a card. So instead of long lists, whether it be on paper or on a digital platform, I instead put everything on index cards. And I'll tell you why this is helpful for me. First of all, I'm someone who has a lot of to-do items. I mean, a lot. I'm constantly keeping busy. I have a lot on my plate. And I have found that for me, when I'm looking at my to-do items in a list, it's a little bit too structured. The reason I like using index cards is that it's very fluid for me to physically adjust what I'm working on by sorting and resorting my cards. So I get to hold them in my hands and I can move things around easily. The cards help me figure out what I want to work on at any given moment rather than having to scan a long list. So let me share my workflow with you. And my workflow starts on Sundays. In fact, the very first video that I did to kick this series off was describing my Sunday weekly review. So that's where it started. And on Sundays, I gather up all my cards and I start going through them. Now you'll notice I have three different piles. This is because I have my cards organized by my buckets of life. I have a set of to-do lists for personal tasks that involve family, friends, home, and household. I have a set of cards that involve our family's passion projects. So that's my Academy of Legacy Leaders initiative, my initiative to help people organize their digital memories, my junk journaling community that I am part of, and then my husband has a photography business. And so those cards are all one bucket. Then I have a bucket of cards for genealogy. I have a ton of genealogy projects, and each bucket is color coded. Now, work is also a bucket in which I divide my general life, but my work to-do list is completely separate from my personal system. I have a very different approach for what I do professionally in my work career. So on Sundays, I've got all my cards gathered. Step two in my workflow is to look at each card and decide, is this something that needs to be done this week, or can I put it aside and look at it again next Sunday? So I'm then making two divisions, this week versus later. And step three is that the later cards get put aside. I don't look at them all week. However, the cards that have to be done, or the to-do items that have to be done this week, get put right next to me so I can look at them daily. So it's now Monday, for example, in the workflow, and I'm only having to worry about a smaller set of cards. I have a whole stack of other to-do items that are sitting there waiting until next Sunday for me to look at again, but I have a subset for this week. So let's say it's Monday. What I do is in the morning, I'm going through my to-do cards, figuring out what I can do before I get started in my day for the work. During the day, I'm looking through my to-do cards when I'm taking breaks for lunch or other breaks during the day. And in the evening, I'm going through my to-do cards to see what has to be done. So I am revisiting this pile for the week throughout the day. The goal is not to get everything done on one day, but to continually revisit so that as the week progresses, I am making progress in my to-do items. And an important part of the workflow is that throughout the day, when I have things that need to be done, they get written on a new index card. So in fact, I am filming this video the night before I'm posting it. And I did that on purpose because I wanted to figure out approximately how many tasks I'd written down throughout the day. So on the day before this video, I wrote down, I think 10 tasks on index cards, and I have now sorted those 10 index cards and figured out what needs to be added to this week's pile versus what can be put to the pile that can wait till Sunday. And I've just finished a working session to check things off of my to-do list. And these are the cards that I've been able to take care of in the past about half an hour or so. So these cards can get recycled. And that's my workflow. Sundays, I got the cards pulled. They're categorized in groups. I'm deciding what needs to be done this week versus next week. And throughout the week, I'm revisiting them and writing down new tasks. Again, as I mentioned, this is the approach done at Organize 365, and I love it. It's such a tangible way to see my to-do items. And again, I don't have the structure and rigor of having to repeatedly scan a list. I just find that doesn't work for me. So that's why I'm sharing it, in case lists may be a challenge for you too. And I do have a recommendation no matter how you manage your to-do list, and that is to ensure you're categorizing them. You want to group them in buckets as they represent different parts of your life, because that type of compartmentalization helps you focus strategically on different areas in a more concentrated format than one big to-do list that spreads across multiple areas of your life. And as I've shared this and you've been listening, I would love to know, what do you find to be harder for you right now? Is it harder for you to keep track of your task, or is it harder for you to decide what to work on? I'm curious to know what your experience has been, just so that we can have that type of conversation going forward. So next in the series, we'll be talking about planners, because in addition to my digital planners, I do use physical ones. I have two of them that I'm working in right now. So I'll share these and just share my approaches for combining analog with digital approaches. So if you want to see those videos, or if you want to see that video in the upcoming videos, I invite you, of course, to make sure you've tapped the button, like the video, subscribe, follow, all the things, as I continue to share more in this Getting Organized in 2026 series. See you then.